Rick, you ready for this one?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the title of this one is Don't Make a Someday Deal with Yourself about your life. And this comes in the spirit of putting things off that you should be really taking care of now. And I've seen this happen a lot of times. One of the things, for example, is let's take something with low-hanging fruit, like exercise. There are people that are, really engaged or they created priorities, and one of the priorities may be, let's say, their career or getting through school, taking care of a family member, all of which to the detriment of putting a lower priority on their health. So to make a someday deal that I'll take care of my health down the road, I'll get my nutrition and lifestyle in line down the road, and that has consequences for your health, for your fitness. And so the idea is to think about not doing that. One of the things in addition, may be that you have had a situation happen with a family member in which there has been some ill will created, and you are left with resentment about it. So you make a someday deal that perhaps you'll clean that up down the road, or have a conversation about it, or forgive or apologize down the road. But all the time, without really fully considering and appreciating that there is no someday, there's only the present moment. And so you want to take advantage of those things right now. You and I have had a lot of friends who've done exactly that over our lifetimes, before we knew each other, as well as knowing each other. You've told me about some friends who have not been diligent in taking care of their well-being, both health and mental, and it's cost them dearly. And when you look at your life, not in a judgmental way, but just in an observation way of like what your health is like versus what your friend's health is like, a lot of that is that whether it was conscious or unconscious, they might have made a someday deal. And I think about that too, of people who are working themselves to death right now, because their career owns them and they don't own their career. And they're waiting to start enjoying life once they retire. They're waiting to start to really look out for themselves once the kids go off to school. And so I'm not saying that you don't make those things a priority, but you can do more than one thing at a time, So it's really important not to make a someday deal. And one of the someday deals that I made was, I didn't know it, but based on my choices, that I was going to start working on me someday. I, I thought I was working on me, but I wasn't. I was working on getting for me, getting for me, not for actually working on me. So all my career choices, education choices, all of those things, who I was dating, that was all about getting for Keith. That wasn't about working on Keith. So by not being conscious of what I was actually doing, but my choices being really the key metric about what I was actually committed to and prioritizing, I put off working on myself. And so I no longer make a someday deal with that. When something hits my stuff and my mind like perks up and my ego starts ranting and raving and going off and being outraged or hurt about not getting what I want or getting what I don't want, whenever that happens, I'm like, the problem is not out there. The problem is here. I'm not making a someday deal by being distracted with my mind saying this person or this situation is the problem. The problem is my inability to handle the situation. And so that's how I'm no longer making these someday deals. I'm making today the deal, working on me. What are your thoughts, Rick?
Well, congratulations on that. That's a major thing for any human being to accomplish. The idea of working on yourself, first of all, as a priority, that is rare and wonderful. And I'm glad to hear it. And I'm sure through the podcast, people understand that the reason that you're so loving and kind is because of your practice and because you work so hard on making it a priority for yourself for the rest of your life. And as a result, your quotient of suffering based on what things hit you is much lower than it is for somebody that doesn't look at their own lives and just reacts and reacts and reacts and reacts and is angry and bitter and has all these justifiable emotions that causes nothing more than suffering. So my personal belief, there is no someday. I know this is a little woo-woo for everybody, but I don't believe there's a future. I believe it's here.
Yes.
Let that sink in for just a minute. There is no future. That's in your head. What is here right now is in front of you, and that's your reality. And how you choose to spend it is sitting on the couch eating Cheetos and guzzling beer. That's your choice. And the consequence for that choice will make itself revealed shortly or at some point in your life. If you want to be bitter and be defensive and say, I was wronged and I'm not going to contact my mother anymore because she was mean to me, or I'll wait 6 months until I do it. Well, you can do that. And there's a consequence for that. And it's called suffering with a capital S. That's all stuff in the future. All those things we're talking about, the consequences and the fact that you're having these feelings, these emotions, all of that stuff stays with you in the present. But you're thinking about it, you're projecting about it in the future. All you've got is this moment. This is the working unit of your life. That's it. There's no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. Sorry, there isn't. It's not promised to you or anyone. You're probably going to live tomorrow. You probably pop up and do the same thing, go to work, drive the same route, park the car in the same space, do the same thing when you go in, have the same fears about your boss or your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your kids. You're going to be in that routine for 20 or 30 years if that's how you look at your life. But if you decide that this is a unique moment and that you can maximize this moment by simply twisting the way you look at things and how you appreciate what you have in your life, if you can just get to that point of appreciation for the moment, you don't have to do it every single moment. I mean, who walks around doing that? I mean, even an Indian guru doesn't do that. But my point is that we must constantly be aware of how many amazing, wonderful things in our lives we have. I can hear, I can see, I can read, I can go to my bookshelf and pull off a book and talk to somebody from the 16th century or listen to what that person has to say. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I can walk outside and smell fresh air. I can look at the clouds and watch them go by. you think, I got a whole pile of work. I do too. I do too. But I can't get through the pile of work until I realize that I am something really unique and special. And so is this moment.
Absolutely.
And if you don't pay attention, you'll be doing the parking space, the driving to work, the same worries about the kids and the mother and all of the other stuff, the taxes, the money, all of the other stuff without even having a moment of realization of how wonderful life is and how magical it is just to be here. Just to be here. You know, think of what the odds are that you showed up. Anyway, so to me, there's no someday. And if you're believing in someday, you'll always have a reason why you can put something off, right? You know, as soon as the divorce happens, then I can be free and I'll find the woman of my dreams. Okay, find the woman of my dreams. She's not what I thought. As soon as I get the divorce, my life's going to be cake. I'll be happy. Or I'm broke. You know, if I can get 10 grand from my dad and pay off all my credit card bills or 20 grand or whatever it is, I'll be set. You get the 20 grand, you pay off the bills, you start charging again. A year later, you're 20 grand in debt. You're the same situation. My point is that humans are so funny about what they prioritize. And someday is a false promise. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Someday is a false promise. Look at what you got today. Live in this moment. Don't put anything off. Procrastination is basically fear. Just basically fear. Fear.
I totally agree, Rick. I think about all the things that I did someday too. There's one thing true about them, and whether it's the next job where I'll be more connected with meaning and purpose, or feeling valued, or people making me feel valued, or whatever the next stop is on the journey, it was always someday. And then when I got there, none of that was true because I was taking the same me there. And one of the things that I've learned is, if you keep doing that, that someday may come sooner than you imagine, and it will be with much harsher weather. And that's what I found. When I put off, going back to school, when I went back, it was a lot more expensive. A lot more expensive. I mean, what I could have gotten done, for, a full degree for less than 20 grand, when I went back a few years ago, it was 64 grand. So there was a lot harsher weather, Rick. When I put off taking care of that tax situation, man, it was more painful. It wasn't worth, not checking the mailbox every day or whatever the case may be, as well as all these other things. Not taking care of your health is a big one. When people put that off, and you put it off, and it's almost to where you're not doing it consciously. After a while, it's just routine for you. You make this meal choice over that meal choice, and you kind of ignore it, and you explain it away by, it's my birthday, and then pretty soon it becomes it's their birthday. So and it's just, and the hits just keep coming. And when that someday comes and you get in the doctor's office and they're giving you the workup, you're like, yeah, I don't know what happened. The doctor's like, I know what happened. So, that someday comes, and it comes with much harsher weather, and it comes with our loved ones, and it comes with just wasting time, man. I have friends who are taking care of some elderly parents whose health is really, really compromised. And my heart goes out to them. And once they get the assisted living situation together, then they'll be able to get back on with life. That's a someday promise again. Like, no, get on with life right now, right now, while you're working on finding a solution to caring for your parents, no matter how difficult that might be. And I've just really used the practice to stop making someday deals. I'm taking care of that right now. And the main thing I'm taking care of is working on me. If I work on me, everything else has a way of working out. So, Rick, I love you. Thank you so much.
I love you, Keith. You take care now.
Thank you.